Hello and welcome to another new episode of Learning Simplified. In this last part of CSS Selectors, we will be defining a definite prototype formula that could aid us to determine the number of elements to be styled differently into our project. Stay tuned. Now there is another way to apply specific properties to some specific child elements of a parent div element using the formula an plus b. So the formula is an plus b, where a equals to any cycle size. That means from 1 to infinity we may set any cycle size for the element. N is a counter that starts directly from 0 and b is an offset position. This is practically an example that we had set right over here. Let's head back to our text editor. Last time we had used a keyword here which is known as event. So with the usage of this individual keyword, we are practically targeting any number of elements into our parent div, which is a direct multiple of 2. That means 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and so on. Other than that, if we use this individual formula here like this 3n plus 0, actually the formula is not 3n. We are practically setting the cycle size to 3. That is the multiple of 3. So if we do not wish to have so, then we might be using this 2n plus 0, where a equals to 2, n is starting from 0, it could be 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. So the counter will propagate forward, and next comes the offset position. For the time being, we are setting this offset position to 0. So we can see that in the first case, when a equals to 2, here it goes. Next comes when n equals to 0 and the offset position is a definite 0. So what will be the result? So 2 into 0 equals to 0 plus 0. So of course the first element being 0, we may assume it that the next counter will be the first element of that parent div. So we are setting this n equals to 1 right now, and we can see that if we set our counter to 1, then 2 into 1, 2 plus 0, that means this whole parameter it reduces to 2. In the similar fashion, for in the next case, when n equals to 2, we may set here 2, that means this whole multiple it turns down to 4. That means in this particular case, here it goes, the parameter will be set to 4. And in the similar fashion, when n is set to the next counter, then definitely 2n plus 0, it should be descending down to 6. That means 2 into 3 plus 0, 6. So we are practically targeting each and every even elements into our project. And as we had said earlier, that in case of an odd positioned element, we may set the keyword to odd, or we may set that particular keyword to even for an evenly positioned element. So in that particular case, we may ignore the formula. So in an order to target the third element first, all we need to do, let's head back to our text editor, and here of course we need to set our multiple. So we won't be making any changes to this offset position. So first of all, it will be always remaining in 0. We'll be seeing later the case when b equals to 1 or something else other than 0. But first of all, we will be targeting this third element. It should be the third element first, this third paragraph, which will be separately styled or colored. So let's head back to the text editor, and here we are setting the cycle size to 3, as we are targeting the third paragraph of that div class content holder as the first element to be targeted. So we are setting this cycle size to 3 now, n is definitely equals to 1 and offset position b equals to 0. So now we may say that a is equals to 3, n equals to 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, and b equals to 0. So of course in the first case this value should be reducing to 3 into 1 plus 0. That means 3. Unfortunately, we have set this value according to its core or procedural formula. So we need to change this value of offset position to the value that we have set here. It is equals to 0. So now if we head back to our project and reload, now we can see that as we had set this index size as the multiple of 3, so the very first paragraph, it is practically targeting the third paragraph of this div class content holder as been set into our style.css. Now in the second case it should have been when n is equals to 2, so the 3 into 2, 6 plus 0, that means 6. So the next targeted element is the sixth paragraph of the div class with this class name of content holder. And now if we head back, we can see that practically the last of the sixth paragraph is being targeted to stylize differently into our project. So this is how we may move on. Now the question arises, if we set this offset position to something else other than 0, for say if we now set it as 1, so what will be the result? Now let's replace this 0 with 1 right over here. So the new value, it should be the first element. What should be the first paragraph that we are targeting in this particular case? So it won't be the third paragraph element anymore, as we had set this offset position to 1. So instead of targeting this individual third paragraph, it will be now targeting the fourth paragraph. Now if we now reload, we can see that this will be the result. So the fourth paragraph element is being stylized differently, but along with it we can see that the very first paragraph element is being also selected and is being stylized differently along with this fourth paragraph. So why it is? Actually, it is very much expected. I was practically expecting this result. We didn't keep this thing in mind that in the first case when n equals to 0, then this 3n value, it is practically getting to 0. But what about this plus 1 position? So in the very first case, nth of type is reducing down to 1 when n equals to 0. So that is why if we head back to our project, we can see that this is the result. The very first paragraph element is practically getting this result here. If we wish to differently stylize the fourth element and so on, then to set this cycle size into something different like 4n plus 0. So if we now press Ctrl S, head back to our project and reload, and now we can see that the first, second, third, the fourth element is stylized differently. And if we increase the number of paragraph elements, there it goes. So we will be increasing the number of paragraphs inside the div class content holder. We have added 4 more paragraphs into it. Press Ctrl S, head back to your project and reload, and you can see the first targeted child element is the fourth paragraph within the same div class content holder, and in the next case, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. This is the eighth element. The eighth paragraph of this same div class content holder is getting differently stylized. This is due to the fact as we had used this cycle size as 4, So the first element, while n equals to 1, was 4. The next cycle size, when n equals to 2, that means the counter is set to 2, so it will be 8. So this is what we need to know from this tutorial. If you guys have liked this tutorial, then do not hesitate to hit that red subscribe button down below. Hope to see you guys in our next tutorial. Till then,